This is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth, and it's time to pay attention, folks. In the last 48 hours, humanity just moved a heck of a lot closer to being on the brink of world war. Putin ally tells Americans, vote Trump or risk nuclear war. This man right here, he's a Russian lawmaker and he's an ally to Putin. He says that a vote for Hillary Clinton is a vote for nuclear war. He says, if they vote for Hillary, it's war. It will be a short movie. There will be Hiroshimas and Nagasaki's everywhere. But should we be worried? Well, the Washington Post here doesn't think that this matters much, but perhaps they are not seeing some of the same things that we are seeing. And in this video, we are going to connect the dots for you as Putin could be readying for war right now. He recently ran an evacuation drill involving 40 million people. As well, not to mention, Russian-owned state media has been telling its citizens to find out where the closest bunkers are in the event of a war with the United States. And here's the thing. Even though the United States is broke, and traditionally countries that are broke cannot afford to go to war, well, we live in extraordinary times where money isn't backed by gold, but by U.S. treasuries. And as the United States and Russia escalate this proxy Syrian conflict, the U.S., as NATO, is pushing against Russian borders in Eastern Europe. And thousands of NATO troops have now been amassed in Eastern Europe. And with Hillary Clinton, or Killary, the neocon war hawk, who's likely to win the U.S. presidential race, the march to war almost seems inevitable. And sure, there are elements of the deep state that believe that a preemptive nuclear strike or a defensive first strike is possible. Like that if you do a surprise attack on Russia, you could cripple their arsenal and somehow prevent retaliation. And while it may be too early to tell if the people running the show here are really this insane, so far the rhetoric hasn't pointed towards rationality. From hacking the DNC and influencing the presidential election, the Russians have become the main scapegoat of the U.S. establishment. According to Reuters, Obama is considering a range of responses, some of which may never be announced publicly and are proportional to the perceived Russian threat. And cyber attacks are considered an act of terrorism. The Obama administration has asserted that cyber attacks could warrant a military response. And according to Killary and the corporate state media, the Russian government is responsible for the DNC hacks, despite no actual proof of this. There's literally no evidence that Russia is behind this at all, but if you say something enough times, it eventually becomes true in the minds of the masses. And meanwhile, U.S. Army Chief of Staff General Mark Milley has issued a stark warning to potential enemies. He's gone on the record here saying, I want to be clear to those who wish to do us harm. We will stop you and we will beat you harder than you have ever been beat before. Make no mistake about that. So he's holding these paranoid fantasies about Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea teaming up in hopes of defeating us at some point in the future. He believes that Russia can now fight a conventional war in Europe and win. It's like some kind of a scene out of Dr. Strangelove or something. He says, it's a tall order for sure to project power into contested theaters, fight in highly populated urban areas to survive and win on intensely lethal and distributed battlefields, and to create leaders and soldiers who can prevail. Tough? Yes. But impossible? Absolutely not. Make no mistake about it. We can now, and we will, retain the capability to rapidly deploy, and we will destroy any enemy, anytime, anywhere. But Russia's not just going to lay down and accept this. As quoted here in the Washington Post, Russian Foreign Ministry officials said If Russia comes under attack from U.S. allies, the Americans are going to be ready to back it and threaten to use their nuclear weapons against us. We would like to think that Washington understands the meaning of such statements and their possible consequences for international security and stability. Well, unfortunately, I don't think Washington does. The U.S. government is full of madmen. And meanwhile, Russian state officials have been encouraging to pull some of their relatives from abroad and bring them back to the motherland. Political analyst Stanislav Belkovsky said this is all part of a package of measures to prepare the elites for some big war. So as this Syrian conflict intensifies, the prospect for peace is certainly looking dimmer. If the U.S. attacks Syrian troops, the Russians are not going to hesitate in attacking first to defend Assad's sovereign nation. And as well, Russia has aid workers in Aleppo. And if the U.S. bombs this territory, it's going to create a clear threat to Russian citizens, according to Konashechkov of the Underground Reporter. A war between Russia and the States has been a long time in the coming. The collapse of the Soviet Union only put a damper on the tensions between the two countries. But what makes this potential war a world war are the allies. The U.S. has NATO and Russia has China, who have openly supported Russian efforts in Syria over the United States' efforts to oust Assad by arming ISIS. Russia has indicated that they would back China over the territorial disputes in the South and East China Seas. This is an area that the United States has been occupying since World War II for really no other reason than global domination and empire building. But the latest development that might turn this Cold War hot is the go-ahead that the British Royal Air Force pilots have just been given to shoot down Russian jets if they feel threatened by them. And while they have also been given orders to steer clear of any Russian aircraft, the RAF Tornado pilots are flying over Syria and Iraq, where the Russians are currently active as well. We're taking a step closer to war, a source told International Business Times. It will only take one plane to be shot down in an air-to-air battle, and the whole landscape will change. And he's right. Just like the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand that started the First World War, shooting down a Russian plane or attacking Syrian troops and killing Russian aid workers may start a world war where nuclear weapons are going to be used. So if humanity survives this, hopefully we can come out on the other side realizing who is really to blame here. It's not the Russians, or even the Americans, or even these entangling alliances, but it's the state itself. War is health of the state, and it's no coincidence that our era of massive centralized states with their centralized banking have coincided with absolute war. As Ludwig von Mises once said, whoever wishes peace amongst people must fight statism. Guys, share this video and help us battle the propaganda with some truth. Also, be sure to fact check all of this info for yourself by checking the source links in the description. And of course, you're not hearing this information from the mainstream corporate media, but you are getting it here, and we do need your support. You can join us as a PFT patron and contribute $1 or any monthly amount that you choose. And to all my current PFT patrons, thank you so much for your support. Stay tuned, guys. We've got more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dix reporting for pressfortruth.ca.